If there's one thing I love about making movies, it's the creative process, made even more enjoyable when you're able to involve friends. After high school, my close friends and I made a bunch of short films and videos. We would find locations and create stories to fit, try different ideas and concepts, and pretty much just make anything we wanted. We all love the horror genre, so we pretty much stuck to that. As time went on, our production levels increased and the films and videos got better. But at the heart of it all, we were still just a bunch of friends having a great time. Moving into more professional and structured production, we still have a great time, but there will always be something so freeing about just making something for fun with friends. So that's what I wanted to do this year, make a short film with two of my closest friends the same way we used to. The idea for Taped was based partly on a concept the three of us had discussed years ago, about finding something in a wrecking yard, in this case, a VHS tape. I knew from the start that I wanted to shoot the film using the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I bought the Osmo in late 2024 and have since kitted it out, with the intent of using it on a variety of projects throughout this year. I really wanted to try push the limits of the Osmo to see what could be achieved from this small but powerful camera. So I figured with Tape designed to be a film told mostly through security cameras, it would be a great first test for the Pocket 3 and make shooting easy. We shot the film in one day, starting in the afternoon at a local wrecking yard. I got in contact with the wrecking yard and explained the simple nature of our shoot. They allowed us to just show up on the day and do our filming. We spent just over an hour there, and despite some winds, it was a pretty breezy shoot. From there, we moved on to our second location and shot the part where the mechanic comes home while we still had some daylight left. After that, we moved on to one of the most integral parts of the shoot.
Hi, sugar, thank you.
Patty, we've just got 2 app orders.
Now that we'd had some dinner and it was dark, we then shot the video found on the tape itself, using a Panasonic S5. We then threw that footage into an Adobe Premiere timeline and gave it a VHS look. To get the footage on the CRT screen, we bought a HDMI converter that allowed us to connect the laptop and play the footage back on the TV. This allowed Paul to react to what was happening on the tape in camera. To achieve the effect of Paul watching himself being filmed, we plugged in the Panasonic camera using the HDMI converter, so Cain could film Paul live whilst he reacted to it being shown on the TV, and I stood in the doorway watching the Osmo footage on my phone. We then took a clean plate to use in order to remove Cain, myself and the cable, and the final result looked great. There was just one problem. There was a slight delay from the video signal going into the TV, so when Paul moved, his movement would appear delayed on the TV, just a little, but enough to be noticeable. Given the concept of the short, I wanted his movements to be matched exactly with the footage on the screen. Luckily, we had the answer. When Cain filmed the POV shots of Paul, we always ensured the camera was recording, not just sending the signal to the TV. That way we could cut back to the POV shots at any point during the edit, because we had the footage to do so. With the Osmo recording the TV screen, we had reference of what it would look like if we needed to replace the footage. So I did just that. I took the footage off the camera, adjusted and composited it in post to look like the in-camera footage of the TV screen, and lined up the footage to match Paul's movements. And although it took some extra effort and time, it worked out perfectly. Then came the finale of the short, the reveal of what we called the lens face demon. I bought a Halloween mask from eBay to use for the face, and had the idea of giving it a single eye made of a camera lens. Paul came up with the bandage look, suggesting the demon was the result of an experiment gone wrong. So after soaking the bandages the night before in tea to give them a discoloured look, and wondering what I was doing with my life, we had a design. Cain, being the tallest, played the demon. I bought a morph suit to cover his entire body, with the plan to alter its appearance in post and have a static-like nature resembling that of a VHS tape. I also ended up using the liquefy effect to distort his body a little, to feel less human. We cut a breathing spot in the mask for Cain, but the costume didn't really offer any visibility at all. So we had to guide him through the shot, which took us around a minute to get. Paul stood on a small step to give himself some elevation, now being held up by the demon at this point in the film. I removed the step in post, masked around his legs, and used the puppet pin tool in After Effects to create some sway to just further sell the effect of him being held in the air. We shot an alternate version of the ending, which switched to a more traditional filmmaking style, just to give a better look at the demon. But in the end we decided to keep the found footage format throughout. Then we did some takes of the VHS ejecting, and that was it. We wrapped, cleaned up, and finished right around midnight. I took my time with the edit, going back and forth on styles, reviewing with friends, and just playing around with the sound design. There were a lot of little elements and a few visual effects that needed to be added into the film that took some time to achieve, but overall I'm pretty happy with the final result. The best part about this short though was making it with my friends. It gave me a nostalgic feeling of the days where we just went out and made things together, which I have a lot of fond memories of. And those I keep taped right here and on this hard drive.